The aim of Nip in the Bud is simple: to provide short films and practical materials to inform parents, carers and teachers at primary schools and help them to recognise mental health conditions in children. We know that many children will have struggled undiagnosed for many years and that their difficulties often persist into adulthood. The facts are startling. 75% of mental illnesses are thought to start before the age of 25. 70% of children who experience mental health problems do not have an appropriate intervention at a sufficiently early age.
About 1.5% of children aged between 5 and 15 will be correctly diagnosed with ADHD. It is more common in boys. In children with learning disabilities, the rates go up to 20%, and in those with an autism spectrum disorder, the rates of ADHD can be found in about a third of them.
The vast majority of people with OCD don't just have one symptom. They typically have a range of obsessions and a range of associated compulsions.
Young people struggle to talk about depression and openly because there's still a great deal of stigma attached to the condition, and I think we'd be naive to think otherwise. Young people are acutely aware of how they're perceived by other people, and they're also at a time where they're developing their sense of themselves, their identities, their beliefs. They may not know what depression is and how it fits with all of that experience of ordinary adolescence, and they may not have the words to describe their experience yet.
Our children are becoming quite astute at recognising when other children are suffering and when they have something on their mind. And actually our children have become very caring in that they will say, "Are you okay? Would you like to come and play? Is there anything I can do to help you?" Or sometimes they'll come over to us and say, I think so-and-so is having a particularly bad day today. Is there anything we can do to help him?
The Nip in the Bud website provides information to train staff in areas like health, education and social care, children's services, family services, uniformed groups and sports groups. We have excellent films which explain the mental health conditions which challenge our children, giving the viewpoint of young people themselves, their parents, teachers and health professionals. We have a formatted link to our films, which we would like you to add to your own website. So, if you notice a persistent sadness in a child, you may recognise it as depression and address it at an early stage. Anxiety might be suspected if the intensity of fears and worries have an impact on a child's functioning and well-being. If you understand what can trigger post-traumatic stress disorder, then you can be ready to help a child deal with it. If one can diagnose ADHD early, then one can help the child and family with coping mechanisms and help the child achieve their potential in school. If one can recognise repetitive behaviours and potentially the onset of OCD, then one can get the professional advice and help needed at an early stage. If you know that conduct disorders exist as a condition and don't consider them just poor behaviour, then you can help the child and their family understand these and get the help needed before the behaviours become increasingly disruptive and destructive. Quite simply, Nip in the Bud gives you the resources to help you identify these sorts of conditions in children as early and as effectively as possible. If one wants children to feel happy, cared for and safe, one must feel able to identify and to nip in the bud the mental health challenges they face.